Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And this is a bonus episode for this week's podcast. Today you are you, that is truer than true. And the name of the podcast comes from a Dr. Seuss quote, and the full quote goes like this. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Shout loud, I am lucky to be what I am. And the podcast focused on our desire to be seen, our desire to feel lovable, and our desire not to be rejected. And because these are such deep desires that we have, sometimes what we do in order to be seen, feel lovable, and not be rejected, we compromise ourselves. We undermine ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to show up exactly who we are, because we're so afraid to have some of these experiences. And when we're not showing up exactly who we are, and again, we're not talking about compromises that people make with each other that are not about the core of who we are. We're not talking about when a partner says you don't show up on time, or we're not talking about someone saying, could you be a little more flexible where we go for dinner? What we're talking about is our root values, our essence, what is so meaningful to us. And when we compromise these things, we're actually not fully living from our heart. And most of our meaning and our satisfaction and our creativity comes from when our heart is connected to the life that we're living. And after I released the podcast, I actually received an email from somebody. In the email, she said that she felt inspired by my podcast. She felt inspired by the idea that we are the love that we seek, that we are actually love. But at the same time, she said she felt lonely and she really wanted to meet somebody to share her life with. And this loneliness made her sad, and this loneliness made her feel bad about herself. And she was having trouble reconciling feeling lovable, feeling loved, and at the same time feeling bad about her loneliness. And I love this question because the two are actually very different. And I know that there's some people that think that if you love yourself, you will be full and you will never be lonely. And that's just not true. Where we make the mistake is that when we're lonely, when we don't have the things that we want, whether it be a partner, whether it be an opportunity, we let those things make us feel bad about ourselves. What we fail to see is there's no connection between the things that happen in the outside world and our value. Things in the outside world will cause us pain, will cause us sadness. They could even make us feel lonely. Where this limits us, where this stops us from living our best life, where this doesn't allow us to show up who we are, is that we take those outside events and we feel less lovable. And we feel like we don't have a right to pursue the things we want. We don't have what it takes to pursue the things that we want, and life will never be different. And when you're willing to see that these are two separate things, that's when your life changes. There's a difference between knowing you are the love that you seek, knowing that you are worthy just because you are here. You are worthy just because you are. You are love because that's what you are. And when we go out into the world knowing that, it doesn't mean that we're not going to feel lonely, because having connections with other human beings, having that higher love that I discussed, when you know you are the essence of love and you meet someone that knows that they are also complete. When two people merge, you can create a higher love. You can create beautiful joy, beautiful experiences that add to the depth and the meaning of your life. And when we start to go out into the world and fulfill our goals, pursue our dreams, start that business, go back to school, get the job we always dreamed of, make more friends. These are elevated experiences. These are things that add to our life, but it doesn't add to our worth, because we are worthy already. And when we don't feel worthy, we actually allow everything to make us feel bad, and it's like a vicious cycle. The things in my life are not happening. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a husband. I don't have that job. I don't have that business. Therefore, I am not worthy. I am not worthy of those things. I am not capable of those things. Next step, I don't try. Or I try, but I don't believe in myself. I try, but I feel negative, and then I can't manifest those things. So in order to break the cycle, it's an inside job. It goes back again to I am worthy because I am. I am loved because that is the essence of being human. That is what we are made up of. It just is. And it's not negotiable. No matter what you see in the outside world, the way to stay steady is to keep that grounded connection to yourself. And some people believe in higher power. Some people believe in God. Some people believe in universe. And that also helps steady people. But in truth, the connection to yourself and your heart will never serve you wrong. And loneliness can be very real. And again, just because we love ourselves doesn't mean we're not going to feel pain or sadness. But what we can do is we can process that. If you love yourself and you're sturdy and you know that you're loved and you know that you're worthy, when you feel that pain, you see it. It doesn't merge with you. That's the problem. When the pain and the sadness merge with us, then we believe that we are not good enough to have a better experience. But when we realize, oh, this is what I'm feeling, this is an experience I'm having, it's sad, it's painful, we can be with it and we can breathe and we can process it and we can move through it over time. And I really get this because when my husband left me, it was a moment in time that I could have really felt unworthy. And I'm not saying that I didn't have moments or days where those thoughts were not with me. But I realized that that was going to be the difference between me having a life and starting again and not. If I went through the process of saying my husband left me, he's now with a woman 20 years younger than me. I am not worthy. I am not lovable. If I chose that, then I would have never been able to process the pain. And I wouldn't have been able to start again because that brokenness would have become part of me. And it's not true. My husband leaving me was an experience outside of me. Him being with a woman younger than me is an experience outside of me. Does it hurt? Of course. Is there pain? Of course. But I am still worthy to be here. I am still lovable. I am still okay. And because I was able to find a way to separate those two, I was able to process the pain and begin again. Remember what Michael Singer said in his book, The Untethered Soul. Everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything. And that's the only time everything will be okay. We have to come to our okayness. And if we can't get there, we are going to spend our lives hiding the most beautiful parts of ourselves because we're so afraid to have the experiences. And if we can't get there, we're going to go out into the world and look for someone to tell us we're okay. And that can come with a lot of pain and compromise. And where we get stuck is if we go out into the world and we say, I'm okay. And we put our essence forward and our beauty forward and our heart forward. We still might get hurt and we still might get rejected. And it feels like, well, where's the win? Well, the win is that you are expressing your deepest self and your life is deep and meaningful and you get to know and understand who you are. And you also will have some wins. It's just you can't hide from pain. Pain is a part of life. But I promise you, if you are putting your authentic self forward and you're willing to get hurt and you're willing to see yourself as love and commit to yourself and love yourself no matter what, the pain will pass and the victories will grow and your life will become bigger and richer and more meaningful. And that's, I think, what we all want. We want to live our life as a deep expression of who we are. But every time we hide, every time we say we're not lovable, every time we're afraid of that rejection, we pull back. And when we do that, we pull back our greatness, we pull back our potential, and we pull back the glory and the miracle of what it feels to be alive. So in response to the email, we are love. But that doesn't mean we're not going to feel lonely or sad or pain. And everything will be okay as soon as we are okay with everything. And that means we determine who we are in this lifetime. I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. If you like them, I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, please write me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. And if you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you could subscribe and leave a comment.